Thank you so much for coming today. Asa and I are joining up Academic Technology and the Antioch University Library to talk about best practices for linking course readings and videos. We've heard from students and faculty who struggle with this frequently, and so we thought it would be a great opportunity to show you some tips and techniques on how to find the best links and on how to put them in your Sakai site or in your syllabus.
Thanks, Bonnie. And I have shared the slides in the chat. So I'll do it one more time in case someone came in late. So you can follow along there, or I'm also going to be running through them on the shared screen. But there are some links in there as well, so you might want to save it. And I really am going to be depending a bit on your questions as well. I would love to address any issues you've run into so far. I'll run through some of the basic approaches and some tips and best practices, but really would love to hear what issues you've been running into. So let's jump in. Here's what we will cover. Why you might use links instead of uploading PDFs, and the kind of difference in how they would work on a course site. Difference between using web links, just out, internet resources, and library links. And then when you use a library link, the difference between a direct link to the full text article or video or resource and using the catalog link. So what I'm going to be kind of encouraging today is to start using catalog links when possible, because there are a few major advantages that I'll touch on to using the catalog link versus a direct link. Mostly their stability and accessibility, and it will solve some of the major problems that have come up in the last couple of quarters. One great example of that are the video links. When we switched away from Canopy, if you were using any of those resources, you may have run into problems with that. And we'll look a little bit at that. And then Bonnie is going to run through how to use these links in your syllabus in Sakai, how to put them into Sakai and make them accessible and easy to use. That's the plan. And so the difference between linking to a resource and uploading a scanned PDF or some document you have saved on your computer, one of the major issues and differences is copyright, of course. So anytime you're actually uploading a document that you either scanned or you downloaded, you'll have to run through a kind of fair use check to make sure if it is copyrighted, that you're using it fairly, and that you have the rights to share this document with all your students, because they can download it, of course. I've linked here a quick little one-sheet guide for faculty around copyright and fair use that runs through some of these issues. And if you haven't seen that before, I'll just pull it up real quick. Loading slowly. But you'll see that the major green light of it's okay to do this is usually going to be links. So sharing links to library resources, links to government websites, sharing web links to commercial sites. Links are almost always okay to share with your students, with some major caveats, of course, like to sites that are for pirated material, all of that. But there's an extra layer of care you have to put in when you're uploading a scanned document or a PDF. So that's the major difference. There's also differences in accessibility between uploading a document and using a link. It saves on file storage and memory. Those Sakai sites can run pretty slowly, especially when you upload if you have a ton of material held there. But a link, it's light. The reusability as well, that you can use the same link over and over again. You can also do this with files, but it's a bit easier with links. And then this one I really like is that using a link to the library will help your students build familiarity with it and skills to know how to access resources on their own. So that's the major difference I see. Of course, not all links are the same. Just a basic Google search for this term here pulls up a pirated PDF copy of Man's Search for Meaning. It'd be easy to drop this link in. Or through the library, you have the proper ebook link, which is found in our ebook collection through EBSCOhost, and you could pull this up through searching our library catalog. There are major differences between these files, of course. Beyond just one is pirated and illegal. Also, an EPUB is accessible to screen readers. You could download it and read it onto a ebook reader. This PDF over here is going to function like a photograph of a page. Most PDFs now are searchable, but some of the older ones are not. So using a library ebook link is going to give your students a lot more options on how to access it, how to read it. And so that's why I'll nudge you in that direction as well.
Also, the pirated link is, as you saw, that it was in a dated folder from 2017, and it might likely to be caught up in an archive, and they might be forced to take it down at some point. So how long that link will be available might be affected by how legitimate it is.
Definitely, yes. So when you are linking to a resource in the library, there are a couple different options. So if you search the catalog here for the title, it will pop up first. The big button that you're looking for to see if we have it as an electronic resource is this View ebook button. And this is what I'm calling the full text link. So this will actually be a direct link to the resource where it's stored in the database. We also have this share button now, which is going to generate a catalog link. So it's going to give a link to this entry in our library catalog. If you put this in your syllabus or on Sakai, your students would click the link and come to this page where they could then open the ebook. So it seems like it's adding an extra layer, but that's for a reason. Here's an example. So if I were to use that view ebook link that was on the last page, I've linked it right here. Yes, Kelly, I posted the slides in the chat, and I'll do it again. So, or maybe Bonnie can.
I've got that.
Okay, great. So this is the link that we saw where it said view ebook. And you'll see it takes me directly into the database where it's stored. And it's opening the ebook. And this seems really convenient for your student, right? Or who's ever trying to access this once it eventually loads. They're already in the book. But there are a few things that stand out to me right away with this. One is that only one student could do this. There's now none available. We had one copy for simultaneous use. So only one person can have this open at a time. So now if anyone else clicks that same link, they're gonna get a dead screen. It's gonna say this is not available. It will also, I'm already logged in or authenticated through the library, but if I were not, it would take them to that authentication screen right away when they click it before they get here. If I go back now, and say I use instead the catalog link. So that was the one that said share. It's going to take them, eventually it will load here. So from here, we will get generated a same link, a view ebook link, but now there are more options. If the book is checked out by someone, it will say that when they go to view ebook. It also has all the detailed information about the book and other options to access online. So we actually have it through two different databases. You could access it either way here. And if I click the view ebook, it will use whichever one is available. So if one is checked out and the other one's available, it will automatically know that and take you to the one that is available. So now we're in the database for the ebook, and we could open the full text or full download.
Another nice thing about this I'm noticing is that it's going to give you the AP7 reference. You can just click on it and you don't have to know anything, and you have it in the right format.
Definitely.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's a major advantage too of linking into the library resources. There are all these built-in tools with it,
Right.
So, again, here's the difference: the full text and the catalog link.
Very cool.
And yeah, it will tell you if it's peer reviewed, and that little cite button is really useful as well. So some differences between the two. Mary Lou asked if they download the book, how long can they have the book checked out? Unfortunately, with ebooks, it almost always comes down to it depends on the publisher and the license that we have. But most of the ebooks in our ebook collection are 7-day checkouts, and they set that at the time when they check it out. That's only if they're going to be downloading it to read it offline with Adobe Digital Editions, which is a piece of software they would have to also download before they can read the ebook version. If they are just opening it up on the web, they don't need to do that. There's no software download or limits to when they can open it. So the differences, the main difference between those links, like I said, one points into a library database. So you'll see just from the URL, this is going to ProQuest, which is one of our databases. The other points to the library catalog. So the form of a full text link is always going to change depending on where that resource is stored, whether it's in ProQuest or like Canopy or EBSCOhost. It will look different. The catalog links are always going to have the same form. So they're really simple. It's just, here's our catalog, here's its number. The full text links will redirect to the authentication page, and the catalog links will provide that full text link, but it will take them first just to our library webpage, where they can then go to the best option available from there. Some more differences. So the direct links, the pros.
I think Meg has a question.
Oh, Meg has a question.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. If you were reading the book online just directly, can you copy and paste a quotation out of it?
Same answer, depends. So they've gotten so tricky with these licenses where there's even differences in whether or not you can copy and paste.
I've discovered that. That's why I was wondering if this would solve that.
Yeah, so it depends on the license from the publisher, not the format or way of accessing it. So some you could copy and paste even if it's online. Others you can't, even if you download it.
Right. And
Yeah.
what I've been doing is I've been screenshotting it and
That works.
typing it out myself.
Yeah.
I can
yeah.
also recommend you just pull up your mobile phone and download a text scanner tool like Scannable that's free. You take a picture and it converts a photograph to text that you can then
Yay.
copy and
What's
paste
it
to
called
yourself
again?
in email.
What's it called again?
Scannable, there's text scan, there's scan text. Just search for something that's called text scanning. There's a million free versions.
Okay, great. That solves all my problems.
So the direct links will be quicker for students, right? It just pops up right with the reading. A little bit simpler. Those are the basic pros. The cons, those links are sometimes trickier to find which one you're supposed to use, which I'll look at in a sec. They can actually change midterm based on our subscriptions and licenses. So this happened with some of our Canopy films where we bought a 1-year license based on a request, and the request was made midterm. Someone assigned it in their course, checked it at the start of the quarter. By the time it got to that point in the quarter, it no longer worked. If you link to the library catalog, the link will still work. It doesn't mean we'll still have the resource, but it won't, bring you to an error page. You could then request it, or in the example I'll run through next, you could see we actually did have that through a different database. And so linking to the catalog originally would have solved the problem. Direct links only provides us one option. We looked at before, there were 2 different ebooks. So it needs to be checked and updated consistently if you're using those kinds of links. Linking to the catalog, these are stable, consistent. They don't change. It's like a Library of Congress classification number, right? It's just, that's its identifier. It will then provide multiple options for access if we have multiple options. And like I said, it familiarizes students and faculty, thank you, with accessing library resources. And as Meg mentioned as well, there are these tools built in to the catalog. And not only the citations, but also accessibility. It does require that bit of extra navigation though, for them to click that next link. So when you're in a database, for instance, this is EBSCOhost, and we're looking for a link, you want to avoid this. You've probably learned this already. If not, you will learn quick that this link up here, the actual URL in your browser, is gonna only work while you're on this single session. So this is uniquely generated to your login. Even though I did that about an hour ago, it's no longer working. So you'll land here. So you'll want to look for the permalink, and every database is going to have that, going to provide some kind of permalink, stable link. There, unfortunately, the naming standards aren't quite 100% yet, but look for permalink, look for stable link, or look for DOI.
DOI is what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it's a digital object identifier, and those are used as stable online storage places. Basically, it's a way of identifying it stably. So in EBSCOhost, you can generate the permalink over in this little toolbar, and then it will pop up on the page, and you can copy and paste it, and you'll see it should work. So it brings me here. So the permalink is just over here on the right, and then it pops up right there.
Yay.
The other option, of course, is what I've been mentioning, the catalog link. So this is for the same article. If I found it in our WorldCat, in our library catalog, you can go to this share button. When you click that, it will pop up with a window that provides you with the catalog link here. There's a little handy copy link button. And then you'll see that link will take you to a familiar site of the catalog where you have access to the article through this window. And so that full text, and then you'll see this is where it gets useful as well. There's actually 13 different databases we subscribe to that have this article in the collection. So if we lost access to the one you used originally, we would still have it doing it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's
So one example I wanted to run through, let's see what I'm doing on time. So this came up this quarter. Some instructors having issues with those canopy links that are dead now. So you'll see if you use a direct link to the item. So let's see, you're using the, it was Ken Burns Prohibition. So this points directly into the database where it was stored, Canopy. This one is for the same title, but into our catalog. And if I use the Canopy link, you will find that it tells us this is no longer available. Sorry, this video is not available. And so the instructor thought we didn't have it anymore and reached out. But we actually do still have access to this film. We've just switched over to a new database. So if I use the catalog link here, so I just searched for, Prohibition, Ken Burns up here, and it brought me to here. And then we have access options. And I can click view now, moving a little fast. But we have this title in our Films on Demand database. So it's still in our collection. And then you can access it here. Close some of these out. Okay. So again, this is just repeating some of the advantages. So another advantage of using the catalog link is it will provide you these alternate options for accessing it. So, and other editions. So for instance, on this book, this is actually the print book, this is the entry for the print book. But when we have an ebook copy of a print book, the link is generated with it. They're matched together. So even though this says print book, you can actually access the ebook here. And then it also includes this little link underneath the entry for other editions or formats that we might have of this title in our collection. So it will show you where we have different copies of the book, and if we have an older edition of the ebook, maybe. Yes, I will post that fair use doc. Thanks. So I mentioned permalinks before, where you can find them, and that they're not quite standardized yet. So sometimes it can take a little bit of familiarity with the way different databases do that. For instance, in SciNet, which is APA's big database, you'll see, again, you never want to use that URL up there. That's going to die. And there's no direct place where it tells you this is the permalink, but as we mentioned before, that DOI, when you see the DOI, that's going to be what you're looking for. So this is actually the stable link. There is one major exception and caveat to this, which is Ohiolink in our Electronic Journal Center. This will say it has a permalink here. However, this is not going to work for us. We need to use a proxy website. So we need to go through the publisher's site rather than the Ohiolink permalink. So this is the only database where this is the case, but you want to avoid, if you see it starts with rave.ohiolink, that's not the link you want to use. So go to the publisher site link. Again, this problem is solved or helped by using the catalog link instead. And then there are a couple additional tools that I won't go too in depth on, but can help with generating links and finding them. So LibKey is actually a browser plugin that you can connect with AULA Library, and it will generate little links, a little icon next to any items that we hold in the library. And it does it on any web page. It's kind of magical. I don't exactly know how it works, but I have a guide here linked, and I'll post this as well on how to use it and download it. It's just a little browser plugin, and then you'll see any web page you're on. If we have the item in our collection, it'll have this little download PDF or article link icon pop up next to it. And then Google Scholar, you can also link up your Antioch account with Google Scholar, so that if you ever search using that search engine, it will generate a link into our catalog in your results, rather than just giving you the basic open internet results, which will often take you to a paywall. This will provide a little full text link into the library. So this is another guide that walks through that process, which is very simple. It just takes a couple of minutes. You link it up, and then in your results, you have this link to full text. So that was quick, and I know I covered a lot kind of, but if you took anything from it, I hope you'll look at those catalog links and try to find ways that you might replace some of the links you're using already with those. But I would love to hear questions, or if Bonnie, you wanna, I'll stop sharing and maybe you'll address some of the questions that people might have already.
Sure, we definitely have time for some questions.
Oh yes, Mary. Yes.
Yeah. What is the expectation that students can use all of this to navigate things and get their assignments done? And what provisions do we have if we're expecting them to know this, or is this really just something we're supposed to know in order to come up with something to offer to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think as far as what the students should be expected to know or will need to know is as simple as, if you have this catalog entry link, you know how to open the resource. So clicking that view full text or view film, they don't have to know anything about the way it's working on the back end. This is really for faculty to know which links to use. Once the student is provided with the link,
Okay.
they need to just know that next step, if it is the catalog link, and that's it, really.
Unless, of course, they're sharing links with each other, as they were supposed to find an article and post it in a discussion forum or something like that. They might post a broken link, and you can definitely direct them to the library or AT to help fix that link if it's not working for other students.
Yeah. I mean,
Alright.
this is something I go over with students quite a bit when they reach out with questions, or, you know,
Okay.
they want to save an article. They just want to save the link to the article and want to know which one to save. But there is a bit of a learning curve with it. And unfortunately, every library system is different, you know, so even if they're used to one, it might be different at it. Yeah.
Right, that's why I was.
Mary Lou, did that answer your question?
I think so. I mean, I have students that can't manage Sakai, so, you know, this looks pretty complicated to get them to be tuned into. So, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
generally
thinking
they're
about
not,
how to do
they're just
that.
on, yeah, generally they're just on the receiving end. So when they click a link, they just have to click in to read
Okay.
something. So for people who are sharing links, these are more important things to know for
I
our
see.
faculty. And I'm going to show how to put them in Sakai.
Right.
And if they have trouble with links in Sakai, then they can come to us. And we do
Okay.
have a student learning guide where they can take training on Sakai. It's available to them, but they don't all do it proactively. They
Yeah.
just kind of struggle and reach out for help, has
Mhm.
been my experience. Meg, you had a question? You're muted though.
I have a question. It's really for teachers, but actually would be helpful for students too if they learn it now. This whole citation business, I'm diving into APA 7 because I should have done that last year and I didn't. Could we have a lesson on EndNotes 20 or something like that that keeps track of references for us? Because one of the things that I think would be helpful for me as a course designer is having all of the references that I have in my course in one, you know, like a bibliography on my computer somewhere. So I have all those links, and I'm just learning how to use that. And it's
Yeah. So there's
not,
in the
not
chat,
transparent.
there's some
Huh?
answers in the chat already, but both Kelly and Karen mentioned RefWorks, which is
Oh yeah,
a bibliographic management program, reference
I've got
manager.
that too.
Mhm. And yeah, there's also Zotero, and we should have a workshop on it soon. I think we used to have them more frequently, I think, and I know the library has offered them pretty regularly in the past, but I do think it's time probably for us to schedule a RefWorks Zotero workshop,
Thanks.
and I will put it on the calendar.
And if you
Appreciate
want to do a recording, we can host it on the AT site, put it on our learning site as well.
Okay, there's
and-
not much out there. I've been searching. I tried, you know, in LinkedIn Learning and all sorts of places, and there's like minimal classes in how to use that. So I'm kind of just wasting time.
I think
do
you can
have a-
also get a one-on-one if you email your local librarian. I know Dana isn't available to you right now, Meg, but there is someone else out there at the library that could help you.
Okay, that's a good idea.
It would be me.
Thanks.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
And,
don't want to
yeah,
spend
I'd
an
be happy
afternoon
to.
with me. I say, Bonnie will tell you 4 hours later, you, how did the time go by?
But Kelly mentioned in the chat too that you know, both of those, RefWorks and Zotero, have a lot of support on their websites for how to use them, you know, these tutorials and guides. So it could be a place to start, but I'm also happy to meet with you and go through it.
All right, you don't have to hold all your questions. If they come up, let me know. I'm going to share my screen and we can talk about how to create these links in your site. So hang on one sec, I've got this page that doesn't want to go away. All right, we're just going to do that then. And let me make this a little bit bigger for you. So when we're talking about linking in your syllabus or in Sakai or really anywhere, for these links, you want to make sure that your link is both accessible and reusable. Because I know you guys work really hard to build your courses, to build the syllabus, and then you might use it to teach several sections or maybe one section a year for several years in a row. And the reusable part of that is that these links are stable, permanent. So making sure that you either use the catalog link or at least you use a permalink or stable link, except for Ohiolink, in your syllabus, and then you use those same links in Sakai that are in your syllabus. Okay, that can be really confusing for students if they click one student goes through your syllabus and they click the link that's there, and the other person goes through your link in Sakai and they click a different link. So for reusability, make sure it doesn't have Ohiolink or Ebook viewer or a user ID or these long strings. You saw how short those catalog links were. Okay, the longer the link is, the more those are, that's the query string. The more other data is attached to it that makes it narrower and narrower and narrower, your user ID, your session ID. That's why you never want to use the URL at the top of the page. And I have seen recently a couple of places where someone has used a DOI or a link that points just to the abstract and then on the web somewhere, and then someone has to click find this in my library, and then they have to navigate 3 or 4 places and then sign in, and it's very confusing. So make sure you're not linking to an abstract when you're checking your links. In terms of accessibility, it's important that the name of the link be English readable text and not the URL itself, unless you're talking about the URL. That means they would be usually blue and underlined. They should be the only underlined text in any of your pages. And that they're not italicized unless they're the title of a book or a journal. You know, just that portion should be italicized because italicized text is much more difficult to read online. So I want to show a couple of examples. Okay, let's just start here. These links down here in this first link called Site Resources are Anxiety Note Sheet 08 PDF, readable English, not https://www.ebsco-host. When a reading browser comes across a link and reads it aloud to a student, it reads link, and then it either reads the English text if they're English words it can decipher, or it reads every character in the URL. And you have seen some of the lengths of those URLs that Asa showed, https://libguide.s. And if you can imagine the pain, if you have 5 or 6 readings for students just in week 1, that also doesn't tell them what the article is, because they can't translate those individual characters that are being read aloud into the title of the article. So it's important that your articles have English names, and English spacing is okay. You shouldn't use a lot of special characters in a link. Colons and hyphens can cause issues, but if it makes it more readable, then it's better. And in Sakai, Sakai has some great tools for making your links easy to use. So I'm gonna drag Sakai over to the screen in just a second. It just let me pull up. I should already be logged in. I'm just gonna go this way. And in my sample site, you will see examples of, is this big enough? I'll make it bigger for people. All right. This is an accessible link where the words are in English. And this is a less accessible link that would be sort of painful for students to read. And Karen, feel free to jump in if you have any additional thoughts on that. Okay. So if you want in Sakai, Sakai has several ways you can link items. This is a text box. I have just typed in the text, just like I was in Word. This would be the same way you do it. Highlight it, use the linking tool, and make a link out of it. So sure, you can link in a text box. The only thing is you have to do every link individually. So that's one way, but it allows you complete control over like whether these are in a list format, whether they're in the middle of a paragraph, if you want to bold them. But Sakai also offers a great way to make lists of your links in resources. So for example, if some faculty have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and they make a folder, and that folder can contain a mix of, if you have some items that are PDFs or some items that are linked. So this is just a link. So I'm going to put a link to Asa's Guide for RefWorks. You can add a link to this folder. It doesn't have to be a PDF. You just use the Actions button. You add a web link. I'll say RefWorks website. You paste in the URL and you add the web link. Now your week 5 folder of documents contains several files. Now I do prefer these files that have spaces between the words, but this one has pluses between each word. This one has hyphens between each word. The one advantage of doing this way is you can go to your week 5 lesson page. And now you can link to all of these documents with about 3 clicks. You simply say, I'm going to add with any plus sign a resource folder. You tell it which folder you want it to link to. You click on week 5, it shows you what's in it, and save. And now all of those resources that you have so painstakingly organized in that week 5 folder show up on this page in one fell swoop, organized alphabetically. So you could rename them to put them in whatever order you want. You could start them with a number if you wanted them to read them in a certain order. And all they do is they can click the link to open a file that you've uploaded. It could be a template that they have to use. It could be a reading. It could be anything. Or even if it's a link, when they click it, it opens the link for them. So in this way, if you store your resources in weekly folders, then they'll show up here. And if you put a subfolder in there called optional readings, you could also have the optional readings appear in a nested folder that's closed just by adding this. If you then go remove one of these documents because it's not one you're going to use anymore, this gets updated. If you add new documents as you're building your course, this gets updated. You just have to link the resources folder to your lesson page once, and you can just continue to update it in your resource. Meg, I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've got RefWorks on the brain today, but this is a weird question. Do you have to go through Antioch to get to RefWorks, or do you own it yourself?
Well,
I'm just worried. I just
mhm.
don't know the answer to this.
You have a RefWorks account through your Antioch email, but RefWorks is a whole separate. They're actually owned by ProQuest, this big database company, academic company. So whatever institution you're at, you could have a RefWorks account. You know, it's like Google. You have an Antioch Google account. You would also have an Antioch RefWorks account, but RefWorks is much larger than Antioch, and you can go through just the RefWorks website for like support, tutorials, stuff like that.
I'm just thinking long term, if you weren't working at Antioch, would you keep all your citations?
Yes, yeah, that was something we asked a lot about, because we know, yeah, when your email stops working, but we were guaranteed that you won't lose everything in your RefWorks account. If you need to transfer it over to a new email address, you can do that, but they're not just going to get rid of your account.
Okay, thanks.
Great. So you can link a folder. You can link in text like we did up here. And the other way that you can link, so for example, let's say you have a reading in here that you want people to read, or it's related to an assignment that you need them to do, but you don't want all of them to appear. You can still just add a link to an individual, for example, individual document that's in your resources by adding a content link. All right, so in text, you can do one link at a time. Adding a content link, you can do one link at a time. By adding a resource folder, you add a folder of links at a time. In this case, in adding a content link, you can do it any of three ways. You can upload a new file, or you can add a link, or you could have selected something that was in your resources. So I find this the most powerful way to add a single link, because it gives you all the options you need in one dialog box. And I find the adding a resource folder the most powerful tool for adding a group of links, or a group of PDFs, or a mixed group of PDFs and Word docs and JPEGs and links all at the same time. So I will save that, and you'll see it appears just as a single indented link right here, just to RefWorks, and it tells you it's going to pop out in another page. When you make these links, you also have the option to edit them, and you can add a description. Use RefWorks to collect citations for your research. You can add whatever you want, and this will annotate that item that you have just put on the page. All right.
So you can
So-
check all your links at one spot.
Yeah. So the other thing is
Wow.
when you import this whole site,
Mhm.
the content links and the resource folder links, if they were working last time, will continue to work. Sometimes people put links in text blocks that point into Sakai and to a folder in this course. If you import this course into another course, it's still pointing to the original, and the students don't have access to the original course unless you make that course public, you know, the files in that course public, and then the faculty clicks the link and it works because the faculty member has access to both courses, the old one and the new one, but the students don't have access to both courses, so they get an error. So that's another way that links run awry. And that's another reason why I like add a content link and add a resource folder better than adding links in text blocks in Sakai. It's not that you can never do it. It's just that certain links, and when you embed images in your text blocks too, if they don't copy over, can point to the wrong place.
And it also emphasizes why using a catalog link would be useful as well. Those, you know, those will link out to where they
Mhm.
can access the resource.
Right. So this slide really is just the 5 steps in adding a resource folder. So you create it in your resources. You add a resources folder. You pick the folder that you want to link on your page, and then it appears and looks like this. This is my build it once and reuse it for forever philosophy. I'm not lazy, I'm just a slave to efficiency. And that extends to your efficiency. I don't want you guys to have to rebuild your courses. Yes, we always change things from semester to semester, but if you can start with a healthy template that you built before and just make some tweaks, much less work than if you tried to rebuild it all from scratch again. So I know we're running a little low on time. You can also embed videos in the same way that I showed you to add a content link. If you're linking to a video service like Vimeo or YouTube, it's the same process, okay? So if you use that embedded content link, so we'll just find my favorite YouTube video here. Oh, of course, it's one of mine. We have 2 new ones. So you just get the share link from your YouTube link. You jump back into your, Sakai site. And you click the plus sign. And this time, instead of adding a content link, you embed. And embed means you want to see the whole thing on the page. Adding a link just adds a link to a new page for it. But embedding it on the page is often what you want to do with a video. Just paste in that video link, you hit save, and voila, your video pops into the page. Okay, so this could have been a PDF. This could have been a JPEG or a graphic that you have, or that's on the web somewhere. It could be Maslow's hierarchy needs a chart that you want to use to illuminate your page. You can embed something when you want to see the whole thing right in your page. You add a content link when you want to link to something on your page. And either of them, these are all reusable. They import the next time, as long as this video stays available.
And you taught me that really cool thing last time about you can take pieces of video. And I love that. I mean, you can, it's so wonderful. And just have that piece of video in your, you know, right there on the page.
Yeah, YouTube has this great feature now. If you get to the part of the video that you want them to see, and then you click the share button, you can start at that point, and it gives you a custom link to start at the 53rd second of the video, so that you don't make them watch 53 seconds waiting for what they want. So you can just use that video instead. And if you can do the math, you can make this link yourself. T equals 53 means go 53 seconds into the time on the video.
So just to be really clear, Bonnie, because I got confused when you talked about that not all students have access to all courses. So when we import the resources folder that was from a previous term's course, it gets moved?
Copied? Yes, when you import, let's say you taught it in winter and now you're going to teach it in spring and you have a whole new set of students. When you import your lessons and your resources, copies of those are made into the new course and the new students have access to those new ones. But sometimes people put a text link in that points to a specific graphic that was in the old course, and text blocks don't get updated. So Sakai knows when you move a content link, when you import a content link, don't point to the old site anymore, now point to the new site. But when you've manually put a link into a text block and it's pointing to into an old Sakai site, it's just text to Sakai. So when it imports it, it does not change that link at all. It's still pointing to the original. So you can trust that your content links and your added folder links and your embedded items are always going to be accessible to students. You have to double check the links that you put. Well, you need to work with AT to check that the links that you put in text blocks don't start with Sakai and point to your old Sakai site.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks for asking that question. I'm sure the second time going through was helpful to lots of people. All right. So I went over adding content links. All the slides, you have access to all these slides. These illustrate how to do it. Okay. Click the plus icon, choose a content link, and then use one of these 3 ways to do it. So this can serve as a tutorial for you to print a page or just to look at it when you're trying to do it yourself. And you're always welcome to email us to do it together sometime. So this is, we described the inline links that were lovely to read versus the inline links which show the HTTP address itself. So we have got literally 1 minute for questions, although I will stay and answer if anybody wants to stay late, but we respect your time and know that if you need to go, that you are welcome to do so. And we were really glad that you were here today. Asa, were you able to put the link in the chat for that?
Or yes, so I uploaded the PDF into the chat of that document. We do have the slides as well, and it is linked in the slides as well. So
Yes. Would you mind linking to the 4 pillars of fair use as well in our slides,
Sure.
maybe, so that people can get them later? And copyright and fair use is linked in the slides too. So if people left and didn't download it out of the chat before they left, it'll still be available in the slides.
And it, those 4 factors are linked in that document, but I'll put a direct link.
Oh, great. Okay, so it's a link within a link. That's fabulous.